right. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all feeling? So crickets in your follow-up. That's weird. Like everybody calls me back. I don't know about you guys, but man, I just call or text and people are like on it. They're like right back to me within seconds. And they're just so grateful that I texted or called. And they're just like, man, Joyce, you're the best. I hear it all the time, like 5 or 6 times a day, right? Yeah, that's not true. Crickets in our follow-up. What is up with that? Why won't these freaking people call us back? Why won't they text us back? Why won't they respond to our Facebook messages and all the 74 different ways that we're trying to communicate with them these days, right? So we're going to talk about it tonight, you guys. I want to thank you for coming on with me. And the first thing we have to do just to get it out there right now is if people are not responding back to you, guess what? That's totally normal. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we're actually in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And I guess people are like stressed out about it or something. I don't know. I feel like everything should be fine, right? But no, actually, I've had a ton of anxiety over the last year. And I want you guys to think about how overwhelmed are you with life right now? How many of you feel like it's just been the craziest year ever and you're struggling and it's hard you're taking care of your kids in different ways. Your work has been crazy. You probably spent way more time with your immediate family than you're used to, like all kinds of different stressors. Some of us are facing major financial stress, right? And so people are like incredibly ADD right now, including us. How many of you feel a little ADD, a little overwhelmed, a little stressed out, a little like you're maybe kind of juggling things, but there's those occasional things crashing to the floor, right? I'm serious. Let's get a show of hands. I'm going to change this to a gallery view so I can see everybody. Awesome. Yeah, we got some hands waving. I guess things are great for the rest of you. Oh, okay. There we go. So yeah, so everybody's super freaked out right now. Okay. So, the first thing we want to do is just like, let's just offer everybody, including ourselves, some grace right now. So we're going to talk tonight about what's the problem, what's going on, and then what can we do to deal with it for ourselves and to minimize people not getting back to us. Okay. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. All right. So the first thing, what's the problem? Let's just get into the problem for a second. Okay. So, people are like crazy overwhelmed. We just talked about, they're stressed out, they're anxious. They have lots of financial, stressors and work stressors and, the whole, like, whoever would have guessed that our entire country would get shut down or that other countries would get shut down. Like when this first happened, when they were talking about shutting down air travel and I was supposed to go to leadership in March of 2020, I was like, there's no way they're ever going to shut down air travel. Like, that's just crazy. And I remember reading about the masks in China and they show it on the footage of people in China with like, everybody's wearing masks. It's like, I consciously remember thinking, there is no way that's ever going to fly in the US, right? And what was it, like a month later, everybody's masked up, everybody's freaked out, everything shuts down, the grocery stores, the mad dash for toilet paper. Do you know how many bags of dried beans I bought during that month? Like my husband still jokes about, we're actually having a summer bingo oil session in another couple weeks. And I'm bringing my bags of dried beans to use for the bingo chips because I have a plethora of dried beans in case the end of the world happened and we needed to survive on dry beans for the next, 6 months or whatever. So if, it's crazy. And I know things are getting more back to normal. And so it can be easy to feel like, and especially because we want things to get back to normal. So we can feel like we just want, why won't everyone just go back to the way things were, right? But the thing is that's probably not going to happen for a while, okay? And some things may not go back to what we were considered normal pre-COVID. So the other thing that's happening, so that's a big piece of the puzzle of why people aren't getting back to us, okay? That's a big part of the problem. The other part of the problem that I have learned during COVID is that we as a culture in doTERRA, at least, I'm building the way a lot of people build. What did we do pre-COVID? We signed people up, right? And then what do we do with them? They just signed up. What do we do next? You can type it in the chat box if you want to. Susan said, I was great this morning. Thanks, Susan. We do a membership overview, right? Wellness consult. Awesome. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Ruthie. We do a wellness consult. Then what do we do? Who can type the fastest? Continuing ed. That's good. And what do we do for continuing ed? We do our weekly Zooms or weekly Facebook stuff, right? Oh, that's another thing. We plug them into our Facebook groups, right? Anybody doing anything outside of that pre-COVID? The in-person events, right? Continuing education, we were doing in-person events. That was pretty much it, right? Well, so that we've been doing that same method for a long time. So one of the things was, I know for me, I was doing all those things you guys just said, and that's it. And I wasn't really doing strong long-term customer support. And I wasn't doing a lot of direct customer interaction. I kind of did, I dabbled with it here and there, but I didn't have a plan and I didn't really follow the plan. The plan was plug them into the Facebook group and plug them into any continuing education classes. And then if they didn't show up, that's on them, right? Isn't that kind of the attitude that we've taken into a pre-COVID of doTERRA? Well, that attitude probably wasn't the best attitude, to be perfectly honest, because it's resulted for me in a lot of neglected members of my team, people that were never going to come to those continuing educations. And they kind of came to Facebook things, but like just kind of popped in and out and saw posts and stuff like that, right? And so part of the problem is that I wasn't creating opportunities for real engagement with my customers. The only opportunity for real engagement was through a personal live event. And how many people can we really get to a live continuing education event? So that means maybe if we're doing awesome, it's what, 10% of our team, if you're lucky. So that leaves 90% of our team that's basically being left unattended. And we're just like, well, you know, gosh, can't get them to come to my continuing education. Just can't get them there. So frustrated about it, right? Well, my thought is, and that was bad enough pre-COVID. And that resulted in me, I have a team, then COVID happens. And now I have very poor connection. What happened? I had very poor connection, direct connection with most of my customers. And now it's COVID and I'm freaked out. Everybody's freaked out. We can't do in person. Facebook turned into basically a nightmare for a lot of people. And now we're left with basically no connection with our customers and very little way to be of true service to them in the middle of a pandemic, which is all about health. And it left most of us floundering, not able to serve our customers in a big way. You know what I mean? Like, I know we all have those certain customers that always show up to stuff and we have relationship with them and we comfort ourselves, at least I did, thinking, hey, I'm showing up for the people that are showing up for me, right? And it's fine pre-COVID, but now we're in a post-COVID world. And so now all of a sudden, most of us are starting to realize, shit, I need to get out there and talk to my customers more. Like, I got to figure something out. And so now we're trying to do stuff more directly. So how many of us have tried like the project broadcast texting stuff? And we're trying to maybe do some calls or some texts or some follow-up. And now how many of us are coming into these groups and saying, what the hell, I cannot get people. I'm sorry, I cuss a little bit sometimes. I'll try not to, but sometimes it slips out. It's for emphasis, yeah. And now we're left saying, oh, why won't my customers get back to me? I don't get it. I text them, I send them things. Like, why won't they just respond? And you guys, I want you to imagine, like, I'm not a makeup person, okay? So I put myself in my customer's shoes, and I want you to imagine that I bought Mary Kay from some lady 2 years ago that I haven't really heard of, except for occasionally I see her posting in her group that's all about makeup. And I kind of like makeup. If I'm going out on a date on a Friday night, I'll get some makeup out, you know, but I'm not going to, I'm going to mute you guys if you come in so just, you know, and so, but I'm not that into makeup, even though as a woman, it's fun. I'll play with it if I have a good reason. But now I want you to imagine, I haven't heard from her in 2 years, really, except for that online stuff I occasionally, Facebook lets me see. And now she starts texting me and telling me about the specials about Mary Kay that I don't really care that much about Mary Kay. And P.S. I'm in the middle of a pandemic. And P.S. I have financial problems and I have all these things. And so, you know, I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to get back to her, right? Here's another story for you. Pampered Chef lady. I bought Pampered Chef from a lady 5 years ago, right? That lady, we'll talk more about this in a minute, but that lady, I have never responded to her emails. She has faithfully emailed me every single month for 5 years. I've never responded to her. She's kind of an acquaintance friend. We're friends on Facebook, and I see that she posts things sometimes, but I don't ever go to it or do anything with it, right? So does that make me a terrible person that I won't get back to her because she keeps emailing me about Pampered Chef and I don't need any Pampered Chef right now? No. It just means that my customer doesn't need me right now. So I want you to consider that, you know, our job is to show up for our customers on a consistent, regular basis. That doesn't mean we have to become best friends with them, but just want to show up for them on some kind of regular basis. It could be every 6 months, and directly reach out to that customer and be of service to them, not to tell them the freaking specials, not to try to get them to do something that I think they should do, but just to show up and say, hey, I just want to make sure you feel really good about using those oils that you already have at home. I want you guys to write that down. This is going to be your new mantra. Hey, Karen, I just want to make sure, girl, I haven't talked to you in a while. I want to make sure that you know how to use those oils that you've got sitting at your house. So I remember, so that's part of it, right? Is we want to change our mindset around what is our job. It is not our customer's job to show up for us. It is not their job to call us back and to text us and to comment on all of our posts and come to all of our continuing education classes and show up on our Facebook Lives and generally adore us and let us know what a great job we're doing all the time. That's not their job. That's our job. That's us rowing the boat of our business. We row the boat. Some people get in the boat with us. Some people hang out a little bit and get out of the boat, right? So we're just looking for who needs my help right now, okay? So that's part of it too. So it's not our business to get frustrated if our customers don't call us back. It should be expected because they have a million things going on. So this is the way my approach is right now. So I don't take it personal when my customers don't get back to me. In fact, here's a mind-blowing tip for you. What if you gave your customers permission to not get back to you? Start building this language around the idea that, thanks, babe, that it's okay to not call you back. I don't want you to call me back unless you need me. Because here's the other part of this, guys. We got a lot of customers to follow up with. How many of you want to go to Diamond or Blue Diamond or Founders? You want to have huge teams, right? You want to enroll hundreds of people. You don't have time to talk to hundreds of people every single month. So I don't need to talk to them. I want to talk to the ones that need me right now. Okay? So if they don't need me, cool. That's awesome. Lorinda, you haven't texted me back, girl. I assume that you're having a rocking time with your oils or life's super busy and you can't get back to me right now. So I'm just going to send you some good vibes and know that if you need, like my job's to just let you know, I am here for you if you need me. And if we keep showing up like that on our customers on whatever schedule you create for yourself, we need a customer follow-up plan and it needs to go for a whole year. What's your schedule for following up with your customers over the course of a year? Okay. So I'm going to give you some really specific tips here in a few minutes to give you kind of an action plan to move forward on. Let me make sure I stick to my notes here because I'll go all over the place. Okay. The other thing is we got to talk about is our Facebook groups. How many of you find yourself saying, oh, I'm getting crickets in my Facebook group? Show of hands. Damn it, why won't I've posted so many diffuser blends and nobody's commenting on them? What is up with that? You guys, again, this lady is posting Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay. Specials, there's the specials this month. Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay. Unless you flippin' love makeup and you're super into it, you're probably not gonna go in that group and post or comment very often. How many times can they post or comment on diffuser blends and roller blends and this oil versus that oil and blah? We've been basically posting the same content to our Facebook groups for years. And then we get mad at our customers that they don't keep showing up in there and liking and commenting on our stuff. Like, here's what I did with my Facebook group this year, you guys. I want to think of it as my Facebook group is my storefront. That's where all my customers and potential customers hang out, okay? So I want you to imagine that in storefront of situation A, I'm standing at the front of the store with a bullhorn on a stage, hollering out things about oils all the time, every day. Tips, recipes, oil, whatever, co-impact sourcing. Like, it's all oils, 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 oils all the time. And it's not, it's a one-way street. Do you see how if they're not engaging with us, it's a one-sided conversation. It's not a conversation. It's us with a bullhorn shouting things at oils at the people in our groups and then getting mad at them when they don't comment or respond, okay? We need to give them opportunities to comment and respond. And they're not going to comment or respond about oils. They will sometimes. And that's cool. It's not like we're never going to talk about oils in our Facebook group, but we want to create true engagement. So one of the things that I started doing was engagement posts. Every day at around 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, I post a post. And you guys, I looked at these posts that other people did for a long time and I was like, what is up with these people? Like, who cares if they like high heels or not? You know what I mean? Like, why are you asking me how I take my coffee? But now I've done so much marketing training, you guys, it's crazy. And so this year I started really trying to understand what is happening here. How can I show up for my customers in a more direct way that's actually helpful to them, not me? Okay. And so this is one of the things that I really fell in love with was these engagement posts. So I think of it, to go back to the coffee shop, right? Now I want you to imagine coffee shop B or storefront B. And now there is no stage. There is no one with a bullhorn. It's more of like a coffee shop feel. And there's like fun stuff going on in the background and there's like conversations going on and people are hanging out. You know, I mean, I know they can't drink coffee in my Facebook group, but that's the kind of vibe I want to go for in there. I want it to be fun and lighthearted, a little bit silly. And so these engagement posts, Terry says these posts work. They really do work. So I just make a different post for every day. And it's like, what are examples of my post? How do you take your coffee? And it's got like different shades of black coffee going over to like mostly milk. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I ask people like comment, my coffee is, I'm a 1 totally all the way, right? How do you like your coffee? And all of a sudden I started doing that and I cut back on my oil posting. So instead of doing those 30-day oil calendars, how many of you are paying for those 30-day oil calendars from different places? And we're just good little oilers scheduling out those oil posts every day. It's not working and it doesn't work. So now I pick and choose what are the coolest, most awesome posts and put those in my Facebook group. And then I just do engagement posts every day. Do you guys know how much I have found out about my customers in the last 3 months from doing engagement posts? I've seen pictures of their dogs. I know how many kids they have. I know how they take their coffee. We have talked about what was their first job and what's their biggest struggles. And a lot of them are silly and just for the point. Do you know how much I've laughed? I have spent all day, tell me the last thing you did and then follow it with like a boss in the comments. Like 76 comments, just ate scrambled eggs like a boss, you know, like, and everybody's doing it, all different age groups. It was freaking hilarious. I giggled all day long. Seriously, every time I checked in, I was like, that's so cute. You know, it's just so funny. So now I'm in my Facebook group. I go, you know, it's not that I don't have those occasional posts that they don't fly, you know, like they're just, for whatever reason, people didn't comment. But I have tons of them where they do 76, 92, you know, 25, 40 message or comments on posts. How many of you would like to have that kind of interaction on your Facebook group? Right? And so we want to bring more play and more fun into our Facebook groups. and into our overall plan in general. And then that opens the door to people to just hang out and tell you more about themselves. And then what you guys can do is I actually keep track of information. So a lot of it's silly, but some of it's real. Some of it's like, I really want to know. So who are my pain people in here? Who are my people that are struggling with a lot of muscle and joint issues? Me. Now they're in the habit of commenting and participating. And think about what it's doing to Facebook. It's telling Facebook, this group is active. These people are interested. I've had people interacting on these posts that have not commented in literally 5 years. And I ask them if the yay or nay for high heels, and they feel the need to tell me. High heels, hell no. High heels, love them for date night, you know. I don't know why the human brain works this way, but it's really fun when you get the hang of it, right? Would you rather go to a mountain vacation or a beach vacation? Tell me more. And then they do. They tell you all about it. And then you can start to keep notes on it, right? And there's even apps and stuff that will help you gather this information on your customers so you can start to really get to know them. And then you can go back to them. You can plan out your stuff, like do a post on like the first week of the month. If you know you're going to focus in on natural cleaning that month or immune support, then message who are my people, or allergies. Who are my people that are freaking going crazy right now with all the pollen in the air? Give me a high five in the comments. And then you can say, hey, you guys, that's your small group of customers that are all going to be really interested in you doing something about allergies. And so then you can interact with them on the post and then be like, oh my gosh, you guys, I did not realize how many of you guys are struggling with this seasonal thing. Like, what do you think about doing a little mini session like next Thursday night at 7? And we will crank through the basics so you guys remember what your options are for dealing with seasonal stuff. Does that sound good? Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Right? Do you see how you can use that interaction to then ask your offer something to your customers? And then you might not get 100 people on the call, but you're going to get 25 people that you know had allergies or seasonal. I know you're going to be compliant. You guys know what I'm saying here. But then those are the people that you get to serve that are going to be really interested. And you can set it up. You can start doing that every month, right? Okay. So if you want to get more engagement in your Facebook groups, play with these engagement posts. I actually have on my website, funoilstuff.com, 20 free downloadable engagement posts. So go try it, test it out for yourself. 20 free engagement posts. And I email you afterwards and kind of give you a little summary of, you know, post it early in the morning. Now, I know some of you might be feeling like my group's dead, right? And I'm afraid that if I post this graphic, nobody's going to comment on it. If you're in that situation where you have a really inactive group, what I want you to do is find like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people either on your team or cross-line friends who would be willing to support you. Add them to your group. And they're like plants in the comedian's audience, right? You're gonna tell them, hey, I'm gonna put this post up at 7 a.m. Will you guys jump in here and make sure you comment? Because sometimes if customers aren't used to this, now once you get going and people are participating all the time, they'll comment, no problem. You don't have to do this. But in the beginning, you can, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You can, I'm just typing here real quick. She asked me, oh, I'm supposed to type it correctly. You can, your friends will help you start commenting. And then once people see it and they see other people, it kind of takes the pressure off. It's like the first person at a dance to start dancing or at a wedding, right? Nobody wants to be the first person on the dance floor. So the bridal party has to get out there and start acting silly and going with it. And then people will come and join them, right? That's what you need. You need like some people to get out there and start dancing so everyone else will come dance. Does that make sense? Okay. And the other part is that sometimes posts don't go over well. And I've had it happen where I get like 2 comments. That's really uncommon now for me, but it does happen. So whatever, who cares? Let it go. Don't carry it with you. We can't use this stuff as evidence that we can't be successful at this. Look for what does work. Okay. That took me a while. When I first started doing these, I had to make my own engagement posts. So I tried some of them and they just didn't come off well. Once you get the feel for them, you can start making them for yourself. They need to be bright and colorful and bold. And you need to ask like really simple questions that don't require any thought, that people love to be opinionated. How do you take your eggs? Go. But they love that stuff. I don't know why. But if you ask them like, tell me one thing that, you know, makes, you know, like, I don't know, something they have to think about. Like, I can't even think of one right now, but, you know, tell me something you want to make better about your health. That's kind of an iffy one. That feels a little more hard to answer. Some people aren't really sure. That stuff's hard. But if you ask them if they'd rather go to Disney World or, you know, somewhere else that people like to go, where do people like to go? Universal Studios, whatever. People are very opinionated. It's not hard. They don't have to think about it, right? So that's your Facebook group, all right? And then for your customers, let's talk about how can we minimize the idea that people aren't going to get back to us. How can we change our verbiage and our wording around the way we call people and the way we practice follow-up, so that the people that do need our help feel more comfortable getting back to us, okay? Anna says she got an error. Okay, Anna, I'll have to check it out. I just launched my website on a new platform, and so it's a little bit glitchy, but I'll double check it. So anyway, don't worry. I'll post in both groups if there's something up with the link when it gets fixed. Okay, so remember we talked about how we gotta call our customers, even if it's once a year for their doTERRA birthday, okay? Like, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. And some of you are probably saying, no, I will never call my customers. Okay, fine. It's your business. Do whatever you want. But if you got to figure some way to contact them directly, right? To build relationship. And so we want to have this verbiage in our minds that we practiced a ton. You know, I'm going to give you guys some ideas of things that you can say, and I want you to write them down. And maybe I'll even try to make like a Google document or something to help you out. But the point is not that you have this list and you call your customer up and read from the list, okay? Don't do that, all right? Scripts are not designed for you to like pull them up and call your customer from the script. That's like your customer's worst nightmare and yours as well. So don't do that. But what I want you to do is, on my team, one of my leaders, Christina, she says that she tells her leaders that I want you to have practiced this so many times that I can creep into your house in the middle of the night and like gently shake you awake and be like, Chantel, I think I'm having a lot of problems with headaches and I'm wondering if there's an oil for that. And then you can like roll off your tongue. Like, there's these different key situations that we all find ourselves in. And that's a prospecting situation, right? That we need to have a really solid response, and it just comes out of our mouth without us even thinking about it, right? That's how strong we need to be. We need to practice enough in any situation. And so with this, with reaching out to an existing customer, I can do it right now. Hey, Ruthie, this is Joyce with doTERRA. Hey, I know it's been a while since we talked, but hey, I wanted to reach out to you. I don't know if you realize that it's your doTERRA birthday this month. Did you know that? Listen, so since COVID happened, we're kind of changing things up and doing some different things. So guess what? You get an oils refresher. This is something new I'm offering this year, where basically you're going to fill out this like 2-minute quiz or 1-minute quiz. It's going to let me know kind of what's going on with you and what oils you have at home. And then I'm going to send you an email back that's going to give you some ideas on how to use those oils you already have at home in a new way. Right. And so, and I almost forgot, if you fill out the quiz, I also send you a little goodie package in the mail. It's got some really fun, like oils refresher stuff in it. You're going to love it. So if that sounds good to you, Ruthie, I'm going to go ahead and text you that. I'm going to follow up with a text. I'm going to send you the link to the quiz. And then if you just fill that out, I know life is super crazy right now and everybody's super busy. So if you want to chat with me, I would love to catch up and hear what's going on. But listen, if you're super busy, don't worry about getting back to me. Just fill out that quiz link. And I will, as soon as I get your results, I will shoot that email over to you and get your goodie package out in the mail. So I hope you're doing really well. And I hope we get to chat, but if not, I'll get that stuff out to you. I'll be watching for your results. All right, Ruthie, have a good one. It's a little bit of a long message, but because you see how my voice is, it's a little bit animated. It's not like toned. Do I sound terrified? How many of us leave voicemails where we kind of sound a little scared, right? Or we sound really stressed, or we're really like, or we're trying to tell them about specials. Don't tell people about specials, you guys. Like, if it's working for you, have at it. But Ruthie says, I would totally fill out that link. Absolutely. It's fun. It's light. It's easy. And I don't need you to call me back. I'm giving you permission to not call me back. Guys, psychologically, there's a thing here that's going on. If we are reaching out to our customers and over, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook, text messaging, whatever, you know, we've got all these options. And we message them and they don't get back, they don't respond in any way, and we leave it like we're expecting a response, it builds up this psychological barrier. And you can only go so far with it before, one, you look like a little bit of a freak show. You're raising their red flags because you keep doing it. You keep reaching out in the face of them blowing you off. It's an obvious blow off. And if we keep pushing it past a few times of being blown up, like, we can feel it too, right? How many of you have gotten to that point? I have followed up with this person 4 times. They haven't responded to me in any way. I feel like I just need to stop now because I'm getting to that weird place. You guys know what I'm talking about? So the way that we can relieve that weird awkwardness is to tell them that it's okay that they don't get back to you. It relieves all the awkwardness. They don't have to feel guilty, but they know they're blowing you off, right? They know they're doing it. And so whether it's not like they feel bad exactly, but it creates this little bit of like guilt of, they know that someday when you do talk to them, and especially because a lot of us are guilty of it, we kind of get to be a little bit of a grudge holder, don't we? Don't we? Just a little bit. Come on, be honest. I've done it too. You run into them at the grocery store and there's that party that's like, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you. You know, even if we don't say it, there's a weird undertone, right? I hate it when I get to that place with my customers. I hate it. It sucks, right? Because then we all know we're screwed. The only way they're going to come back to us at this point, if something really bad happens and they really genuinely need my help. But if I just put it out there all the time, hey, you don't need to get back to me. It's all good. I'm here if you need me. Doesn't that feel so much better? Feels better to me. Feels better to them. Gosh, it just makes me want to take a deep breath and lay back and relax. Like, right on, we're good. So now I can call you forever. I can just always call you, and I have a schedule, and I tell people now what my schedule is. I try to make it a goal. To my personal customers, I tell them, so here's what I tell my customers now when I actually get them on the phone. I say, hey, you know, for a long time, the way we worked our business was we used to do a lot with in-person events and Facebook. And since COVID happened, like, in-person events went away and Facebook just got really crazy. So I'm trying to take a more direct approach and really just try to show up for people more individually. So I know it's been quite a while since we talked last, but I just want to reach out to you and, you know, let you know I'm here. And I sincerely would like to be helpful to you. Okay. And so I want you to practice some version of that. Blame it on COVID. This is the perfect opportunity. If you haven't talked to your customers in 5 freaking years, this is the beautiful, most amazing opportunity to reach out to them and just try to be helpful and ask yourself, how can I show up for my customers in a different way that feels better for them and for me? And I can give you ideas for this, but I want you to write that down. And I just want you to sit with it for the next, I sat with it all last fall, literally, I'm not kidding. That's a great question to ask yourself. If you want to change the way you're working your business, like, I've been getting all into affirmations. Those of you that are in my Wellness Advocates group know this. Like, what are the questions that you want to ask yourself? Like, how can I show up for my customers in a more direct way that feels good to them and also to me? And just see what answers come to you, right? Like, doesn't that sound so much better? I want to do that. I want to have a doTERRA business that feels like that feels better, that I just have a list of customers. And so let's get into the solution a little bit deeper, okay? And I promise you, we're going to wrap up here soon. I just want to give you some actionable items Don't let any of this overwhelm or stress you out. You can watch this as many times as you want, and it's going to take time. Like, I've seriously been working on this all last fall and into this year and developing the tools and some of the stuff that I'm going to tell you guys about. So you're not going to be able to pull this out by next week and be like, I got this all figured out now. Okay. This is going to be a process for you. You know what I'm trying to say. Pam, the recordings will be posted in both of the groups. So whichever group you came to, whether it's Roger's Crossline group or the Wellness Advocates group, you'll see it in both places. Okay, so we already talked about Facebook groups and how you can switch things up in there, okay? So go back and study that, play with it. The most important thing is that you're having a good time in there. You should be giggling and laughing like a schoolgirl on a regular basis, okay? I mean that jokingly, but I'm kind of serious too. So play with that and see what you can do. And then get working on your verbiage. How can I create this verbiage around all of my follow-up so that I can just that can roll off the tongue? I know things are crazy right now, Beth. I'd really love to chat with you and catch up, but listen, hey, I know life is busy, so don't worry about getting back to me if you don't need anything right now. But I just want to let you know I'm here, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions if you want, okay? So I want you to start practicing that. I practice it driving in my car, where I used to before COVID turned me into a shut-in, homeschooling my daughter at home. But if you drive sometimes, find those private times when you're alone, practice saying these things until they just roll right off your tongue in the way that you would say them. You don't have to say it the way I say them, okay? So play with the wording. Okay. So change your expectations with your customers. Ask yourself those questions. How can I show up more? And then here's what I want you guys to think about doing. I want you to, this is a pretty specific action plan. It's going to take you a little bit of time, but I want you to download your personal enrollments and put them in a spreadsheet. How many of you have something like this already that has a list of all your personal enrollments, when you enrolled them, what kit did they enroll with, if you can remember? You might have a notes column that's like, what's their husband's name? What are their kids' names? What were the health issues that they told you about when you first helped them get started with oils? You won't remember a lot of this if you've been around for a while, but do the best you can. Anything you can remember. Where did you meet them? Did they come to somebody's party? Did they host a party for you? Anything you can remember. You're building a little file on that person, okay? And just start with your personal enrollments. This is like the oxygen mask thing. You're going to put your oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you can deal with the rest of your team when you get to it, okay? So download your personal enrollments, get them into a spreadsheet, go spend some time with that spreadsheet and fill it out, add information to it as best you can. And then I want you to come up with a action plan. What do you want your customer service to look like for the whole year? And the first year is like special because you've got that, you're going to work with them more in their first 90 days. And then they're just going to go on probably like, I'm going to tell you guys my plan, and then you guys take it and do with it what you will, okay? And I have all this in an ebook. So if you want the ebook, you can, we'll figure out a way for me to get it to you. But anyway, basically enrollment is day 0. Okay, are you with me? Day 0, I know you're getting tired. I know this is a lot. Hang in there, we're almost done. Day 0 is enrollment. 14 days, you should have had their membership overview hopefully done. I know shipping kind of throws a wrench in that sometimes, but you're usually around that 2-week mark, right? Membership overview. Everybody's good at this part, right? Most of us are pretty good. Okay, now in your membership overview, I want you to give them a very specific action plan. I don't care what it is. It might be use your roller 3 times a day, but give them a plan. 2 or 3 things that you want them to do for the next 2 weeks. And then at the 30-day mark, so 0, then 14 days or 2 weeks, 30-day, 1 month mark, call them back, and you want to be real specific. If they don't answer, you're going to say, hey, Kylie, this is Joyce with doTERRA. Hey, I know it's been about 2 weeks here, and you told them you were going to do this. Tell them your plan ahead of time. Here's my plan. I'm going to give you a call in 2 weeks and see how you're doing with this plan, okay? 2 weeks later, Kylie, it's been about 2 weeks. Can't wait to hear, how is that roller working for your 8-year-old? Is she loving it? And also your husband, has he kicked you out of the bed for using the oils for sleep yet? Right? Like, try to be funny if you can, but do it in a natural way. Or don't be funny. You don't have to be funny. Just do what feels normal for you, but care and be specific. This means you got to take notes on what you told them when the last time you talked, right? So then you're going to be real specific. If you have to leave them a voicemail or if you shoot them a text, texting, same thing. Kylie, it's been 2 weeks. I told, we said we were going to talk in 2 weeks. I want to know, how is it going? Be real specific. Don't say, how's it going with your oils? You just gave them an out. It looks like you don't remember anything they just talked about, right? That you just talked about. So be real specific. If you get real specific, people are way more likely to respond back to you. You're way less likely to get blown off, okay? And so even if you didn't, you still sent the very clear message, hey, I know I'm a professional here. I remember what we talked about, and I want to know what's going on with you, okay? And even if they blow you off, that's very clear that I'm a professional, I'm showing up, I'm rowing the boat, and whatever they do is on them. And I don't have to feel bad about that, okay? 30-day mark, we got that squared away. Now 30 days later, tell them at that 30-day check-in, I'm gonna touch base with you in a couple of weeks and just make sure everything's going okay. But listen, you can get back to me anytime if you need me, okay? But I'm gonna check in with you in another couple of weeks. So at the 60-day mark, it's up to you. You could call again, but that's kind of getting to be a lot. So what I've been doing is sending them a postcard in the mail, something fun and easy. There's all kinds of little, like this is a diffuser little postcard that I use for, there's different seasonal ones. And these are on my website, by the way, too. You don't have to use these, use something else. I don't care, but you could send them a postcard that tells them, hey, here's something useful. If you're gonna send them something in the mail, give them something useful. And then just say, hey, Christina, I'm picking a name here. Hey, Christina, I hope everything's going okay with your oils. I'm here if you need me. Now it's okay to say that. I'm not asking them how it's going. I'm just writing a fun note. Hey, Christina, I hope things are going really well with your oils. I'm wondering how, you could put something specific in there. I'm wondering how your teenager's doing with that HD Clear Kit. Happy to chat if you've got time. If not, no worries. And P.S. here's some fun diffuser blends and an after sun spray for you, right? Hope you're having a great summer. I'll check in with you in a couple weeks. Real quick, you could write this postcard when you do their follow-up and stick it in a folder with a stamp on it and then just send it out like at that 60-day mark. So you can get, like, you guys are like, some of you might be feeling, oh my God, this is so much stuff. I have to keep track of. You're gonna have a spreadsheet and it's gonna keep track of everything. You have their enrollment date. So then you're gonna have a date. You can put out a date of this is my 30-day and this is my 60-day check-in with the dates there, right? And so it can be very easy and organized from there. And then once they hit their 90-day marker, I drop them into what I call the 90-day check-ins. So I do 90-day check-ins with my personal enrollments only. I can't do 90-day check-ins with my whole freaking team, okay? But with my personal enrollments, that's the bonus they get for working with me. They get me 4 times a year. So then I text them or call them or whatever your normal routine is. And I say, hey, Beth, it's been a couple months since we talked. I try to reach out to my personal customers around every 3 to 4 months. I just want to see, last time we talked, you were working on oils for sleep and muscle and joint stuff. How is that going for you? How's it working? I'd love to chat if you've got time. If not, you're welcome to text me back, or, if you don't need me right now, no worries at all. I'll keep reaching out to you. I'm here for you anytime though. I just want to make sure you're confident and comfortable using those oils that you already have at home. Because what's the big worry when why don't people answer the phone, or why don't they talk to us? We want to, in our messaging, address any fears that they might already be harboring. One, they're afraid that you're going to try to sell them stuff. And if they already feel guilty, yep, Ruthie said it, they think we're trying to sell them more stuff. So this is a reason I really try to be careful about sending out specials. doTERRA sends out specials. People are getting those emails. And if it comes up in conversation when I'm doing a good job with my customers, I'm happy to tell them what the specials are. But I do not hit people with the specials all the time. Even in my text messaging for Project Broadcast, we make a Word document, a Google document. We put the special graphics in the Google document. And then in our Project Broadcast at the beginning of the month for our texting it, we always give them education, something fun, a graphic that's a diffuser recipe or roller recipe or whatever. And then we say, oh yeah, and it's beginning of the month. doTERRA has some really fun things going on this month for specials. If you want to check it out, click the link here. So they have to click it to go see the specials. So the people that want to see it, they'll go look. And the people that don't have to. We do not mail specials directly. That's also a good way to get yourself flagged as spam on Verizon. A lot of people are having problems with Project Broadcast because they're sending out specials on a regular basis. And again, hey, if it's working for you, you don't have to listen to me, but I just want you to consider these might be some of the reasons that your customers aren't getting back to you, because they already probably have oils sitting at home that they're not using, that they might be feeling guilty about. And now you're sending them specials, but nothing else, and not doing consistent follow-up outside of that. And they feel like you're just keep trying to sell them stuff, right? Okay, so that's my 90-day check-ins, and I do that every 3 months. And I organize my, I use something called Streak. It's like a spreadsheet. Okay, we got some Streak people in here. It's awesome. If you're not tech savvy or you're a smaller builder, don't worry about it. Just make the spreadsheet and then organize the spreadsheet by the month that they enrolled. Write that down. Keep your spreadsheet organized by the month that people enrolled. And then this is how I do it, you guys. That keeps it super simple and not overwhelming. Every month, I pull up my people who enrolled in that month, whatever year. I've been doing this for almost 8 years, so it goes way back, right? I don't care what year they enrolled, but I go back to the people that, these are all my June enrollments historically. And those people, it's their oil's birthday. So now I know I need to reach out to 22 people this month for their oil's birthday. And I even have leaders that we started doing this with my team this year and last fall. And one of my leaders went through and scheduled out her doTERRA birthday text. She likes to text because she does everything online. She doesn't ever talk to her customers on the phone. So it'd be weird for her to call them. So she scheduled out the doTERRA birthday post for every single month for the rest of the year. She has her streak or her little spreadsheet. It's broken out by each month, what the enrollments are. And then she's got a fun, hey, I need a person. Hey, Megan, it's your doTERRA birthday this month. So exciting. Plug the oils refresher quiz in. And then she schedules them all out for the whole rest of the year. She's good to go. And if you do it at the beginning of the month, then you've got all month to kind of work with people a little bit. Sometimes people just miss it. So if people haven't responded, it's okay to circle back on the 15th and say, hey, Kylie, I don't know if you saw this post or this text message from a couple weeks ago, but it is your doTERRA birthday. So just remember, if you're just busy and you can't, no big deal. But if you want to fill out that oils quiz, I'm watching for your response, and I'd love to get that goodie package out to you if you want to. I just want to make sure you feel confident using those oils that you already have at home. How does this feel? Feels so much better, doesn't it? Makes me feel better. Makes me feel better to tell you guys. I feel better for you. Okay, so get your people into a spreadsheet and then get your follow-up plan. If this feels overwhelming, kick it out to every 6 months. So you've got your 0, then your 14-day overview, then your 30-day check-in on how the plan went, maybe a 60-day postcard if you want, and then check in with them in 6 months if you need to, right? But now you know if you're doing a good job or not. Half the reason I feel like I'm doing a bad job, or I feel like I don't know what to do sometimes, our businesses can start to feel very heavy and scattered because we don't have a clear plan of what the hell it is we're supposed to be doing. Like prospecting can be like that because that's just how prospecting is. But this side of it shouldn't be that hard. It's just that I just never had a plan before. And so then I always felt kind of weird about it, but now I have a plan. So every month it's just real clear, right? So I think that's about everything that I wanted to cover for tonight. And I don't want to just, I know this is a lot. Okay. So that's your homework, is to get your team into a spreadsheet, your personal enrollments. And then you can teach your leaders how to do this too. Can you imagine launching a new builder and you teach them this follow-up process from the beginning? It'd be a beautiful thing, right? And it takes the pressure off of you. And think how amazing your BOGO months are going to be when you start actually connecting with your customers. And now it doesn't have to feel weird when you do reach out to them to say, hey, just so you know, they're doing BOGO stuff this month. Do you want to, I have a texting thing where I'm sending out the BOGOs. Do you want to know what they are? It's okay if you don't, or it's okay if you're not into it, you know? So it opens the door to you be able to have real interactions with people. All right. And feel really good about it. I just want you guys to feel really good about your businesses. I feel like that's half the battle right now, because we're all really tired. We're overwhelmed. We're just as overwhelmed as our customers are, except we're trying to do a business on top of it. And so we just need a clear plan, and then just go take action on the plan. Even if you do nothing else, go take action on this plan, and it will get you past feeling stuck. And you guys, I'm telling you, you'll be amazed at the responses that you'll get. Some of us aren't reaching out a lot because those few people aren't responding back. We don't reach out to more people because we are afraid they're gonna, yeah, Karen's shaking her head, because we're like, well, if these guys won't talk to me, what's the point of me hanging? That's not our business anymore. I want you guys to just take that whole idea and put it way over there and be like, you know what? That's not my business anymore. I know what my job is, and I'm going to do my job. I'm going to show up. I'm going to row the boat, and you will be amazed at the things that come out of it. I've had people place 400 PV orders after I reached out to them, not because I was trying to get them to, but because it turns out they've been thinking about ordering oils for a few months, and they just keep forgetting to do it. It wasn't an LRP, but I don't care. It helped me hit rank that month. And then when I got on the phone with them and I actually served their needs, and we had a great conversation. And then she was like, I really should. And then she thought of other things she wanted to try. She went on and placed a 400 PV order. Now that doesn't happen all the time. I'm not trying to tell you that you're going to have all this, but really good thing. You'll have people tell you, oh my gosh, Ruthie, I'm so glad you called me. Like this is what's going on. And I've really been wondering if oils could help. And they'll tell you about something that's going on with a family member, and you called at the right time to show up and help them. Okay. So it's really good. It'll get you back connected to your sense of purpose and just like doing good in the world through your business and all that good stuff. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I'm just curious about how to get the ebook that you talked about.
Yeah, it's called Mastering Follow-Up. It was on my old website, and but I just launched this new website, and I put up the 20 engagement posts. So I got to go figure out, why don't I go find the, I'll go find the landing page for it, and I'll drop it into the comments of the recordings. And then you guys can click it, and it will add you to my email list. But I have a really amazing nurture campaign that kind of takes you through. There's like 4 emails over a week where you get the ebook, and then I walk you through with each email, like working you through this understanding, helping you cultivate this idea of what's my follow-up plan? How do I take care of my customers? So you can drop the email list right after that if you want to, but I really like those emails. So I want you to have the emails and the ebook. Go ahead, Ruthie.
Just out of curiosity, in your streak, did you get it the way it came, or have you changed your pipeline so that this is my 30-day follow-up, my 60-day follow-up, instead of the verbiage that was on there the way it came?
Yeah, I definitely did. Do you want to see it real quick?
That would be awesome.
I don't use their pipeline stuff. I customized it to my stuff. So this is my customer retention pipeline. When it clicks up here, just give it a second. Sure. So I have people that fill out my oils refresher quiz. That's my customers that it's their doTERRA birthday. Those quizzes feed into here. My new quizzes for prospects feed into here. I keep track of all my retail customers now so that I can follow up with them during BOGO. So I have a bought retail section. And then down here, these are my new enrollments. These are people that I'm in that first 90 days with. So I keep them here. So I don't need to have a stage for, I did their 2-week follow-up. It overwhelms me. I just need to keep it simple. I know where they're at in my initial 90-day follow-up. And then from there, once they get to that first 90 days, I drop them down into the month that they enrolled.
Gotcha.
So, and then each month I also keep it hidden here. I don't like to I hide my people so that all I see are the people I need to focus on for this month.
Right.
You know? But I have columns here for what was their enrollment date, what was their initial order, I have a last touch point column. When's the last time I actually communicated with them directly? And I put dates in here so I can keep track. I also keep track if I mailed them anything. I like to mail my customers things, just really cheap little things. Like these are roller labels for my website. They're like $1.50 if you buy a 10-pack. And I give them a cute little recipe card, which I don't have here, but it's like a printable, downloadable recipe card. I drop that in the mail with a handwritten postcard sometimes. And just, especially like some of these, like they had a baby. I send them the new mama roller labels and be like, oh my gosh, Ruthie, I saw you have a new grandbaby. I'm so excited for you. Here's some roller bun labels for your daughter and your grandbaby, blah, 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 whatever. So anyway, I keep track of that so that I can remember, because I'm not going to remember. So I'll put in here, I sent them new mama roller labels or whatever. And then I just build a history on them. It lets you keep track of anytime you've emailed them. So this is Trish. This is her quiz she filled out for me. These are all her health issues that she had when we talked. And then this is that email that I sent her that has that first plan. This is what I want you to do for your oils. And then I tell her specifically or whatever. And you can keep notes in here. So if you talk to her at that 30-day mark, did 30-day check-in. I'm doing her 30-day check-in on the 29th. She's on vacation right now. So on the 29th, I'll come in and be like, okay, you know, this is what happened with her husband. I'll take notes on everything we talk about, and then I'll come in here and keep notes on it in Streak. So if you're not familiar with Streak, Streak is, it's a free program that lives in your Gmail account. And it's really nice. It's like a spreadsheet, except you can email directly from it. You can email your customers directly, and you can keep a whole history on them and all kinds of stuff. I do have mini courses on my website for a lot of different things. The quizzes, if the quizzes idea sounds fun to you and you want to, everything I give you is done for you. The Streak, if you want to try Streak, you actually get the whole Streak pipeline done for you. I just give it to you and you don't have to create it. And then I show you how to download your personal enrollments and import them, and then how to drop them into the month that they enrolled and stuff like that. So you don't have to do that stuff. So if you guys are new to this or you have a small team, don't worry about it. Just use a spreadsheet. It's just the same. Okay.
I have it. Yeah, I have it from Jenna, the way she did hers. And I've been using it for probably 3 or 4 years now, like that. But it's not, I don't know. It's not getting me where I want to go. So yeah. Thanks for showing me yours. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I coached with Jenna before she went to the courses and stuff like that. And she was the one that introduced me to Streak. But all those step-by-step million stages and things did not work for me. It just overwhelmed me and shut me down. So I deleted all of that stuff and I keep it super simple. It's just focused on the month that they enrolled. Super simple.
I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Anybody else? Okay, awesome. I'm super excited for you guys to do this. So get your, work with your stuff. If you have questions, feel free to post it in the comments below in the recordings. And yeah, I'm excited for you. Don't worry about it anymore. It doesn't matter if people aren't calling you back. It just means, if anything, take it as a reflection of like, what do I need to change to feel better about this? And then to help reassure my customer that I'm not trying to sell them stuff. I'm trying to be helpful. Like, just ask yourself those questions and you'll get to a style that works well for you. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I had a great time, and I look forward to seeing everybody at convention. Bye.